Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is day 7 in our Git for DevOps series. So in last video we have seen that if we have the merge conflict is there, how we can resolve using command line, or maybe if you are using any kind of GUI tool or VS Code, then how you can conflict can be resolved using these methods, and you can stay up to date of your branch towards your production code. So far we have seen that all the repository, whatever the work we have done, that is being done on our local repository. In today's video we are going to discuss the remote repositories, how we can start the remote repository. If remote repository is already there, then how you can contribute towards that remote repository. In the beginning of this course we have seen that Git is just a subversion, right? Which can just track the versions, the modifications of your file, right? It cannot host your repository. To host your repository, we have discussed a local solution, something called Gitia, which we have installed on our Git server. Apart from that, there are few cloud-based solution as well. Like we have discussed GitHub, we have something called Bitbucket, we have GitLab. So these are the solutions where you can just go and create your account and you can host your repository remotely so that other people also can get the leverage of your code if you are sharing something, or if you want that your team needs to collaborate in your uh, work in your project, right? Then you can host your repository on these uh, online platform, hosted platform, and you can give the access to your team. So let me show you. This is something the github.com, right? Here you can create your account. I have already created and I have few repositories already there, which you can clone if you want. So this is the repository for our this course. There are few which is for others. If you want to learn the other courses, then you can just explore my channel. But today we will focus on Git for DevOps. So this is the github.com where you can create your account and you can create your repository. Don't worry, I will show you from the scratch how you can create your repository, how you can clone it, how you can pull, how you can push, and all these things, and how the Git tracks between the local repository and the remote repository. Apart from that, there is another solution, something called Bitbucket, that is also a online platform hosted for your Git repositories, which you can just create and you can host your thing. Similarly, we have one more, something called GitLab. There also you can create and you can host your repository. But in today's demo, we are going to discuss the github.com. So let's come to our notes first. So this is the stuff which I have already pushed to our repository. If you go to Git for DevOps, so here you will find that we have this git pull push.txt, which was just pushed a few moments ago. Let's come to this. So basically what is happening is, if already a remote repository is there, right? And if you want to pull that repository so that you can work on that repo in your local system without interrupting a production code. So what you can do, there are few commands which you need to be familiar with. So first of all, if remote repository is there, right? So simply what you can do is you can come to that repository and you can see this green button here, right? And you can see that this is the URL for this. If you just simply copy and if you go there, I have already there, so I'll show you again. Let me delete it. So what you can do is you can run the command git clone and you can just simply give the URL of your repository. So this is the account, the hosted platform which you can do, and this is my username and this is my repository name, right? Since it is a public automatically allowed, so it will not ask you anything. It will not gonna ask you that the credential. If you simply hit, then it will go to the internet, search for this repository, and it will clone that repository inside your system. So that is the way for the particular repository, right? If you want to create a something called, let's say, if I'll go back again, and if you're creating a repository inside your github.com, so there are two uh, things. One is whether you want to set the visibility of your repository to private or a public. If you set it to private, right, then explicitly you need to allow, okay, what all users can get that access to the particular repository. And if you set it to public, then you can see that anyone can on the internet can see this repository, and you choose who can commit and everything, right? But with the private, you need to choose, you need to set the explicitly access to the team, right, who can collaborate to your project. So that is the way that we can create a new repository. So since it is a public repository, you can also clone in your system. That is the reason, and here you can see it has created this directory, and if you go inside, you can see all the things already there which we have hosted in our particular repository. So how exactly this pull and push works, right? So that's what we are going to discuss today. Git pull, obviously it has done, right? So let me show you first one thing. If I go back to your this one repository, and if I'll just show you that remote repository, right? Here you can see in the initial of our this project where we discussed the under the hood Git, how it exactly works, how it exactly tracks the files, right? So we have discussed there is a directory called .git, and under object we have all the files, all the hashed file of your content is there. But you can see we have many files is there already, but there is no hash file is there. Why? Because what is happening is, right, uh, it will gonna archive all those things, right? Because what it will do is it will whenever you clone your repository, right, it will come as an archive for all object and index, whatever the index you follow, and that you can see under where you can see under this folder called pack folder. So this is the uh, folder, or this is the pack file which have all content, all the hash file, all the commit, all the trees, all the blob hashed under inside the pack, right? I will show you this in a moment. And this is the index file which will have that, okay, what all branches are there and everything, right? So what we can do is, let me just show you. What I will do is, I will just move this file. Mm, let's move it to one step back to the, okay, let me see, where am I? I'm in Git object. Okay, fine. So I am gonna move this file one step back. So you can see as of now, there is no pack file inside because we have already moved inside. And if you see, we have pack file here. And how to read that pack file, right? So what you can do is you can simply cat this file, and you can output to this to get something called unpack object, because I want to see what all object it has, right? And if you just simply cat this, you can see what will happen is it will unpack everything under this. And now you can see, right? Earlier, if you see under object, here you can see, right? We went inside, and under this we have seen only two directories, info and pack. But once we unpacked, you can see that it has many files. right? So what these files are, these are just the hash object of each and every content, the file, the commit, the tree which we have created inside this, right? If I just want to show you one, I'll just choose one random, okay? Okay, before that we just need to see what is under, let's say, C8, okay? So I am gonna do that object C8, this one, okay? Now if I just say git cat file, and if I just redirect this to C8 and I'll just choose few initial, you can see that it is pointing to which one? It is pointing to our branch one, this one, this file. If you remember, this file we have discussed in our previous video, git branches. So this is the file for this. So that's how that it will come as your object when you clone your repository, right? And here one more thing, when you do this, right, you can see you have something called .git, right? But there is another way. If you don't want this .git, right, remember we have this one. If you gonna download this directory, right, then the zip file will not have this .git folder. It will just simply downloaded your content. It will not give you that the tracking file, the index file, the pack file. But if you want to explore more, then you can clone it. So while cloning it, what it will do is it will just give you a track of each and every stuff when you do that. Okay, what all Git branch you have, which you have created, right? But this is our course repository, so we'll not play with this. What we will do is I will show you a new repository which I will create and I will show you, right? So that is how this remote repository you can clone and you can do that stuff. Okay, so let's come back to our this one, and what I will do is I am gonna create a new repository here under my account. You can just simply create a new repository and let's say demo remote. Later I will delete it because this is just for the demo, okay? And I will set it to a public one. Fine. And I will just hit simply. If you want to add readme file, like where you want to give some kind of introduction of your repository, then you can just add that file, add git ignore file. We have many template as well, like we have I think one of the for the Python. So once you have that Python code, if you are working, right, and if you are compiling, then it will creating some local cast file, right? That is something not required to host on remote, right? But if you choose to this one, right, then Git has its own smart thing that okay, it will know, okay, I don't want to push all these uh, Python based uh, that file, right? So it will automatically ignore those file, and you can see that we have many. So according to your use case, you can choose one of that pre-existing template. Okay, now let me create one more time because I don't want this Python. I will just say demo remote. Okay, now let's go with the public visibility and hit on create repository. So now you can see it has created your repository, and how you can clone, how you can play with this. So it is giving you that stuff, right? Or create a new repository on the command line, right? So what you can do is you can create one repo folder inside your system. You can initialize the Git and you want to set it to that particular thing to your what you call uh, remote origin, right? Let me explain what is remote origin is. Basically, what is happening is whenever we are dealing with the local repo, right, it's fine. We have the local repository, we have everything there, right? But if we want to push that code to somewhere to the central repository, so we need to set our remote repo. right? And to in order to set that, what we need to do is we need to add that remote repository. By default, what is happening is by default when you do this stuff, right, it will give you a name as a origin, but it is just a name. If you don't want to give this name origin, you can give any name, and then you can simply push it to a upstream, because what is happening is you need to set it to upstream. I will show you in a bit moment. But if you are working on an existing repository, right? Like already there is, and you want to push that code to a particular stuff, then how you can do it. So let's do one thing. Let's create something called remote repo. Okay. And here I will gonna readme.md file and I will say git init. Okay. Now if I just want to see, I have this file which is untracked. Okay, I think we have initialized outside of that directory. So what I will do is I will remove that .git file here so that it will not show anything. I will go inside the remote repo and I will uh, move that file here. And now let me initialize. Now if you see, you have that one file which is untracked according to the Git. And that's what it is saying. Let me just drag it to the right little bit. So here you can see that we have initialized, we can add this git add readme.md or any file, right? It's just an example. I'll show you how you can do it. And let's commit it. Commit hyphen m, and it is my first commit. So far what we have done is we have done the same thing which we have uh, already learned in our previous video using our local repository. And see, this is something that we have uh, learned, right? In order to commit, right, you need to set your identity so that later on it will be tracked. Okay, who done what? So let me quickly set it to user.email and I will set it to admin at path4cloud.com and I will set user dot name. Okay, it is not giving, so let me quickly add git config user dot name, let's say admin. Now, if I want to commit it, it has committed. And if you see, we have the working. But so far, what is happening is it is in the local repository. It is not on that particular thing. Let's say if I want to push it. So it doesn't know, right? It doesn't know where I need to push, because push is something when you are pushing your code from local repository to remote repository. So what it is saying is no configured push destination. So what you need to do is you need to set that particular URL. Which URL? This URL, because this is the remote repository we have done. This is our hosted platform. This is our something called a account, and this is my remote repository. And I need to set this git remote add and whatever the name you want to give, and then you can just simply give the URL. So let me just quickly I want to see this. Now I will do git remote add, and let's say I will just name it to demo, and I will just hit this URL. And now if I just say git remote, not git remote, git branch, it'll just give me this one. If I just want to see a remote repository, as of now nothing, because we haven't pushed anything. And if I'll just say all is will show you a local repository, and remote repository will be shown with the hyphen R flag. If you use a hyphen A flag, then it will show you a local as well as your remote repository. Now, if I want to try to git push, right? What it, again it is saying, right? Why? Because this time you can see the error is different. This time what it is saying is, okay, boss, you have set your remote repository. That is fine. But I don't know to which upstream branch I need to push this data, right? Because there we don't have any branches yet. I don't have any branch. So what I need to do is either you can set it to a master, right? Whatever that you have done, or you can give it a main as well, because main, master, development, these are some kind of a common naming convention which we follow for our main branch. But let's stick it to the master only. So what I will do is I will set it git push. Either you can use the set upstream command, right? Or what you can do is you can just use a shortcut called -u, which is again a kind of the upstream. And this is the demo, right? By default, it is origin, it is suggesting, but since we have given the name to our remote repository as a demo, then I just simply hit master. See, now it is asking a username, and why? Because now you can question here, once we are creating this repository, right? What is happening is it we have set it the visibility to what? We have set the visibility as the public, but that is only for the pull operation. While you push something to a remote repository, it requires a credential, right? It requires, okay, I don't know you, right? So you need to set these upstream URL. And for that, let me just give me my account. And now it is asking for the password. If I just simply give my password, right? So it will fail. I have given my correct password, but it is fail. Why? Because now it is require a token, right? Password authentication is not supported for the Git operation. Earlier it used to, but somewhere in 2022 or 2023, GitHub stopped the password based authentication. So what you need to do is you need to create a token for that, so that you can authenticate yourself and then you can set it to your this credential, and you will be able to push it. So let me show you how you can create your token. So what you need to do is, once you logged in your account, on the top right side you can see your avatar. Just go to your profile, and under this you will have something called uh, settings. Okay, from the left hand side, just scroll to the below and just reach to the developer setting. Just click to the developer setting, and here you can see the personal access token. We'll stick to the token classic one, right, which you can create. There is another something called fine grained token, right? If you click on that fine grained, so here what you need to do is you need to set your access. Okay, who can do what, right? It is giving me that particular MFA. Let me click on this my mobile app so that I can authenticate. Okay, so that you can prove, okay, you are the correct user, you are trying to access it, right? So it has sent me this notification. Let me give the 51, and I have approved this, and it will automatically refresh and it will give you a token name. You can just give any token name to this fine grain, right? Who is the resource owner, what is the expiration date of this, right? By default it is 30 days, yeah, but you can go up to 90 days, or you can choose the custom, right? But don't go with the no expiration. That is a kind of not good, right? It is also giving you a warning. GitHub strongly recommends that you set an expiration date for your token, right? It will not gonna stop you, but it is, you see the recommendation, right? So let me just stick it to the 30 days. And here you can see repository access. To which repository access you want to give, whether you want to give a public repository, all repository, or only a selected repository. And here you can choose, okay, which repository is valid for this token. And using that token, only those repository you can play with, right? That is what it is, a fine grain. You will have a granular access towards your repository, right? But I will stick it to the something called classic. Here you will see that it will not, just click on this generate new token. I will just give you a demo repo, right? It is a resource owner, right? And I will just stick it to the public repository. What all permission I want to give, I will give. Okay, again it went to fine grain. Let me click on this new token classic. Okay, And here you can see I will just give demo repo and expression is this one. And here you can see the scope, right? What scope you want to give in a particular repo. This will be applicable to each and every repo, but inside a repo as well, you can set all these scope, right? So I will just simply say for all these things, I will just say read packages, workflow, admin organization, whatever you want to do, delete repo and everything, what you can do it from your remote repository and simply hit on generate token. And you need to note this token somewhere, otherwise you will not be able to see it. So you need to secure this token somewhere in at secured place. Once that is done, right, let's say if I click on this again, I can just simply see demo repo, but I cannot see that token which was created for this. I can only change these permissions, I can update, I can delete, but I cannot see that token, right? If you lost or forgotten, only the ways you need to regenerate. You cannot retrieve the token which is created at the very first time. All right. So we have already copied and let's hit this again. It will gonna ask me the same thing. And this time I will give the token and you can see that I was able to push this stuff to my master branch. Right. Now let's go back to our repo, which is this one. Okay, not this one. I need to switch to the demo repo, which is created for this. And here you can see we have this empty README file already pushed from our repository. And now if I just run git branch hyphen r, so here you can see, or if you choose hyphen a, so here you can see this master is pointing to someone what? It is pointing to your local repository. But here you can see the remote. Remote is something that which is a remote repository. And what is the name of that you have given? You have given a demo. And what is the branch? Branch is the master branch. Right? That's how that you can do it to all this stuff. Right? So how it is being pushed, right? Let me just show you the demo here. If I'll go to this one, so see what is happening is we were in our working directory where we have the some files and codes we have done, right? We have added that and it was added to our staged area. Then we have committed that and it is added to our local Git repo, right? So far we are good. But when we do a push, right, we have already set the remote repo and we have pushed our code and now we can see our code is already in our remote repository. From where again you can go, you can clone it and you can work on it. Same thing. But let's say I have done something here. Let me do one thing. Let's add file here. Okay, create a file. I'll just name it test.txt and I'll just give some file has been created at GitHub remote repo, right? And I just quickly commit those changes. If you commit something, fine. Like the particular message you wanted to give it. Otherwise, it fine. And I'm directly committing to the master branch. Let's commit. And here you can see we have two files, right? By default, a local repository you can see here we have only one file, but in the remote repository we have two files. By default, what is happening is it will not automatically sync, right? You need to shoot some command so that it will fetch all the operations from their particular thing, right? So let me show you. As of now, you can see that only these thing we have. Git object. We don't have that particular new file. But there are two things. One is the git fetch and one is the git merge. Git fetch, what it will do is it will fetch the update from the remote repo to the local repo, right? Let me just quickly do git fetch. Now it knows, okay, I have a what? I have remote repository which I know, so that it will not ask you. But that doesn't mean that it has created a new file here. But if you notice earlier we have only three objects, but if I do the same command again, now you can see we have created this 67, 7C, and there are few other files it has created. But why we are not seeing those in my particular thing? So for that, what is happening is it is using a something called, can you notice this? There is something called hashed object C784. Let me go back to there. And if I just want to see the commit for this particular this one, right? You can see that C764, right? So this is the commit ID which we have committed to this with this file, right? So git fetch, what it will do is git fetch only fetch the update from the remote repository to local repository. This .git folder is nothing. It's just a kind of each and every configuration of your local repository, and it has all these things. Fine. Now if I want to do it, right, what you can do, git merge and just simply say this fetch head, right? And now if you see, you have this test.txt, and you can see this file is the same file which we have, right? But generally we don't do like that. What we do is, let me create one more file here and I will simply show you. Create new file. And if you want to create a folder here, right? Let's say you want to create a test, just give forward slash, it will automatically create the folder here, right? And here you can just simply give one.txt, and you can say one.txt added inside the test folder, whatever the code you, and just simply commit those things, whatever the message you want to give it, and then simply commit it, right? Now what is happening is we have three files here. Again, if we see, we don't have this much, right? We don't have this thing. But if you do a git fetch, right, what will it will do? It will automatically update your this this commit ID to 8E. As of now, it is pointing to what? It is pointing to the same, the previous one, which we have already committed. You can just simply see this one, right? Now, what we will do is we will just run another command which is something called git pull. What you can see here is git fetch will just get the update, and it will just put those update in the local git repo here, right? And if you want to see those updates inside your staged area or your working directory, you can do git merge, and the fetch head is like whatever the previous commit inside your remote repository. But what we will do is we will just run git pull. So git pull basically do what? It will fetch the update and merge the update from remote repository to local repository, right? So let's see in action now. If I just simply run git pull, so what it has done is, now previously what we have done is we have ran two command, git fetch, which created the object, then we merge, which merged that thing to our local repository. But this time I have just ran the git pull, which is automatically fetch the thing, and you can see, if you see this now you can see it is pointing to a new commit ID, right? So that's how this git pull and git push works basically, right? And if you see git remote hyphen r, sorry, git branch, you can see we have one branch local is there and the same branch is there. But it is how it is getting synced to your what you call it, that remote repository, right? So for that we have something called git show ref. You can see that our local branch is pointing to this commit ID, and our remote repository is pointing to this side. That is the reason if you have not your latest content inside this, right, you cannot push it to a particular thing, right? I will show you that as well. And apart from that, if you just run this command, so what it will show you is, okay, you have that particular thing, which you can see here. It is saying, okay, I have this demo. This is my, what you call it, that fetch URL, and this is your push URL. Like whenever you are going to pull, you are going to pull from this upstream URL, and whenever you are going to push, it will ask you to push to this. That's what we have already seen, right? It will just show you that all these things, how you can do and everything. There is one more thing, git branch hyphen vv. So here you can see that this master is getting tracked to this, right? Uh, If I just show you remote show origin, origin is not there, sorry, it is demo we have name it, right? So you can see it just give you a little bit more detail about your remote repository. So here the remote repository, this is the URL, this is the push URL. Our currently head is pointing to the branch master, and then it is a remote branch is under which remote branch it is being tracked. It is being tracked as the master. That is the reason, right? It is saying whenever you are pulling, right, how it knows, okay, I have this thing at remote repository but at don't have at local branch. So that is how it is being tracked with this something called tracking branches, right? That's how it is being done. Now let's do one thing. Let's create a new BR. Okay, I have this. Now let's quickly create 2.txt and git add 2.txt, git commit hyphen m, and added from local repo. Now it is fine. Now if you see this new br is there, if I just say git branch hyphen a, you can see this branch is only and only available in my local repository. It is not available inside your remote repository. You can confirm here and you can go and you can check here as well. You don't have that new br here, right? So how you can do it? You can simply git push. But this time again, it will cry. Why? Because this branch is not there inside here. Remember when we push the first time, same time also we have done the same thing. So what you need to do is you need to set git push hyphen u, and you need to set the upstream URL for demo origin as a new BR. And once it is done, again it will gonna ask you the same thing. And we have copied our token, just copy and paste, and it will gonna push. Let me just quickly refresh, and now you can see we have that new BR is there. If you go inside here, we don't have 1.txt, and if you go, then you can see that 1.txt is there, or whatever the file we have created, 2.txt, right? And it will give you a prompt here as well. You have that one branch as created which has a recent push. If you want, you can pull this request, but I will gonna discuss this PR request in next video. But as of today, I will just show you how you can pull this stuff from your from local. Same thing if you want to do it from the branch here, right? Let's say I want to remote BR. Okay, now I want to create this remote BR. It is done. Now quickly add one file here, 3.txt, and just hit commit and commit changes. Right? Now it is there. But if you want to see now, git branch hyphen a, now it is the same thing. Once we created this local repository, we will local branch, right? It was not available on the remote. Now we have created the branch on the remote repository, and that is not applicable here even it is not showing you as a this one, right? So how you can do is simply what you can do is you can just simply run git pull, and now you can see it has created a new remote BR. And if you see, you can see that it has pulled the, okay, I have this thing, right? Now how we can uh, remember we have ran this command vv. What it is saying is, okay, you have this master branch locally, which is pointing to a remote master branch. We have this local branch called new BR, which is pointing to a new BR remote branch. But how we can create a copy of this? So in order to do that, what you need to do is you need to simply check out to this one. Just copy, paste, and you can see, right? Uh, okay, one second. Git checkout master, and if I just git branch hyphen a, I need to set this to as this one. So what I need to do is I need to fetch. Now we can just simply git checkout uh, remote BR. And if I run this command, now you can see that it is pointing to my remote BR to my, it has already it has already created a tracking branch to this. Similarly, if I just run the same command git remote show demo, you can see that now we have three remote branches and all branches are tracked, and where it tracked, the local branch master is tracked to the remote master branch, new BR is tracked to the new BR, and remote BR is tracked to the remote BR, right? Now if I just run git pull, it is saying already up to date because we have already done that thing, right? So that's how that it is being tracked to your particular thing. Because when you pull it, right, let's say git checkout master, I have done, right? Now what it I will do is I will create one more file inside my remote BR 4.txt, and I just quickly commit it. But that is in where? That is in remote BR, that is not in the master, right? Now if I just say git pull, you can see that it has created this demo BR already up to date. You can see, but we haven't get that file 4.txt here. Why? Because generally what is happening is whenever you are doing the pull, right, pull is only referring to what? Pull is only referring to a, you can see that it has detected, okay, there is a something commit, new commit in a remote BR, but it is not giving me that. But if I just git checkout to remote BR, and now if I just say git pull, now you can see it has fetched the file. So what I'm trying to say is whenever you are in some particular branch and you are trying to git pull, right, it will only and only pull the content from that particular. Git pull doesn't mean that it will pull everything from the all branches. No. Git pull will only pull the data from that particular branch which is getting tracked towards git branch hyphen vv, which is getting tracked towards your remote repository, right? So that's how that git push and git pull works inside your git, right? So I think that is what I just want to show you how you can do that stuff, right? There is one more thing. Let's say I want to delete this local branch, which is a remote BR. Okay, let me just quickly check out to that particular different repository, so that I will show you if you want to delete it, right? So what will happen, basically how it will go, and you can just do that stuff inside your thing. Okay, so let's do one thing. Just give me a second. Git branch, we can confirm it is there. Okay, now git check out. Let's say what branch we have. We have new br. I want to delete this remote br. Okay, now if I just show you git branch hyphen a, you have this remote br. Okay, now git branch hyphen d, and I want to delete this remote br. Although it is giving you warning because it has not merged, right? But still it has deleted your branch. You can see, you can see that there is no, but it is still pointing to, because on the what you call it, that on the remote repository this branch is already there, right? And if you want to uh, update this particular thing, right? If you want to delete this, and you can just say, what you can do is git remote prune demo, and if you run, because this, what is happening is, because this is something the repo we are created in our remote, not here. So it has already deleted from the local, but it is there. If you want to delete it from that particular mm, what you call that remote repository, so what you need to do is you need to do git push demo hyphen d. What you need to do is you need to do remote br. So this way, what it will do is it will delete that repo, not repo, uh, branch from the remote. So let's quickly and paste it here, and you can see that it has deleted this. It is still there, but let me just refresh the page, and you can see now we don't have that remote br, right? So that is way, if you want to delete it, a remote repository, if you want to delete the local repository, how you can do at all these things, right? So what I have done is, whatever we have discussed, I have already written down everything, each and every these steps, the topics, the demo steps of how you can perform inside your own lab, right? How you can do it. So this is how this git push, git pull, git fetch, and if you want to track that particular local tracking, right, how you can do it. Delete report repository. So reference, I have shown you how git tracks between a remote repository and a local repository, the syncing happening, right? This is how that you can do it. All right, so that is how we can do all these operations. And yeah, I think that's it for the day, which I wanted to show you. You don't need to like see all these things, how what exactly happening this behind, right? I just wanted to show you that if you need to troubleshoot all these steps, right? So you should know, okay, how to track all these things, how to check all these things, how Git is getting synced between my repository and the branch. If you want to delete a branch from the remote, or if you want, if you have deleted, right? Let me show you one more thing. If I just want show you this thing, right? Now what we will do, let's delete this branch, this one, new br. One second. Mm, come on, view all branches, okay? And here we have this new br branch is already there, right? So what I will do is I'm gonna delete this, and here you can see that it is already showing you, okay, which is the active branches, what are the that thing we need to switch to a different branch first. We are on master now, and I will show you the view all branches. Here you can see that this is your default branch, and you have that new branch which is one commit ahead of your master branch, right? And this is your active. So let me just quickly delete this new branch. Delete it now, and let's me quickly go and let me confirm. Now we don't have any branch, right? But if I want to see here, here you can see it is created, it haven't deleted. So what you can do is what uh, git remote prune demo, and you can see that okay, now it knows okay, there is something happened on the remote. What happened? We have deleted this. And if I want to do, here you can see that new BR is done. But now you can see it has removed only the remote reference. It haven't removed this local reference. If you want to do a local reference, again, what you can do, you can delete it. And if you want this, right, what you can do, you can set it to demo new BR. Right? If you accidentally delete the branch from the remote and you want that branch to be available and that branch is still there in your local repository, you can push it. And what it will do, it will gonna create that branch again with the same stuff. Right? So here you can see we have read.txt, and if you come back to this, let me just quickly refresh. And here you can see that 2.txt test folder is already there, right? So this is how the way you can troubleshoot, you can save your data if you accidentally delete it, right? And if you do it again, you will have that remote repository is available. All right. So yeah, that's it for the day. Think I just wanted to show you all these operations, how exactly the git pull works. When you do a git pull, what is happening behind the scene, what is the origin you want to set, right? How you can check what all origins you have set, what all branches you have set, what is how to check a remote branch. If you want to create a remote branch, how you can create, how you can fetch, how can uh, get the information about the tracking branches between your local branch and your remote branch, right? And when you do a git pull, what it will do, how it is being tracked, all this information, what is fetch head we have discussed, right? Then we have the when you do a git push, how it will gonna ask. And obviously, if you have this thing, right, there is one more thing. As of now, it is asking me again and again all these things, right? So what I will do is there is a two thing, right? One is something that you can set it to permanently, right? For that, what is happening is there is a command called, I will update in notes as well, this one. So what it will do is it will store your credential, whatever you are doing. It will not ask that thing again and again. Okay. And if you don't want to store it permanently, like you want it to set it for a particular timing, let's say for 1 hour or something, right? So what you can do is you can run this command, this one. Now let's say if I added let's say cred.txt, just random file, right? Git add cred, git commit hyphen m, added cred. And if I want to push it, only this time it will gonna ask me. Next time it will not ask because it will gonna cache my credential. Let me quickly. Okay, it has done. Now let's see. Add it to cred. Again, git commit hyphen a hyphen m. I will say updated. Now, if I just say git push, so you can see that this time it did not ask me any credential. Otherwise, it was keep on asking me what is your username, what is your password, and everything, right? And here you can see it haven't asked me anything. So that is how you can cast your credential, right? With this, what will happen is after 1 hour, it will uh, remove those cast credential. This is a secure way, right? But if you want to run, if you are running on your own system every time, then you can store it your permanently as well, right? And when you see all these tags, right, let me go back to this one. And if I'll just show you this commit, here you can see that it has done by all these things, admin, 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 right? Because here also we have the admin, but let me show you one thing here. Four commits we have. So here you can see that it is marked as admin, right? Why? Because we have set our naming convention is here, this one, admin at path for cloud and all these things. But whatever the commit was done from the GitHub, here you can see it has been marked as the author of my account, right? So that is how that different team can collaborate to this, and this identity is must to identify, okay, who has done. So I can see that this commit was done by this user, this commit was done by this user. So you can easily identify, and if there is any discrepancy, any gap in between, you can just directly go and contact that guy and you can sort it out, right? So that's how it is being done, these things about your URL and everything. All right. So that's it, I think we have done. In next video, I will show you if you don't have, right, because here what is happening is I know my credential, right? I know that, okay, but sometimes what is happening is you don't have credential to write to that particular thing. So what you can do is you can modify your code, right? And you want to merge that particular thing inside your main production code, and you don't have that rights. So how you can do that with the help of PR? What is the benefit of the PR, right? How it works? All these things we will see in the next video. All right. So I'll take leave for the day and I will meet you in the next video. And if you like this stuff, so I would recommend to support me here. Please subscribe my channel, share it with your teams, colleagues who is already working on Git and wanted to know more about the Git, how it is happening, then it will be helpful for them as well and obviously for me as well. All right. So stay happy, stay learning. We'll meet you in the next video. Bye bye.